In the tapestry of the civil rights movement, names like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X often dominate the conversation. But behind the scenes, a different kind of leader was quietly shaping the movement's foundation. Her name was Ella Baker. She was a woman who rejected the spotlight, but whose influence still resonates in every corner of grassroots activism. Ella Baker's philosophy of leadership was rooted in collective power, not individual charisma. In this mini-documentary, we explore her pivotal role in the civil rights movement, the organizations she helped build, and how her approach to community organizing set her apart from mainstream civil rights leaders. Her grandmother's stories of resistance to slavery shaped young Ella's belief in the power of the people to resist injustice. But it wasn't just her grandmother's legacy. Baker's experience in college also deepened her understanding of activism and social justice. Baker moved to Harlem in the late 1920s and soon found herself at the heart of progressive activism. It was here that she became a leader within the NAACP, traveling to small towns and organizing local branches. Unlike many of her peers, Baker wasn't interested in the large symbolic marches or speeches that defined many civil rights leaders. Her focus was on building grassroots power, organizing people where they lived, encouraging them to lead themselves. Over the decades, Baker worked with many of the most important civil rights organizations in America. She was the national director of branches for the NAACP and later helped create the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, known as SCLC, in 1957, alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But while Baker helped launch SCLC, she had a fundamental disagreement with its structure. The SCLC was focused on charismatic leadership, specifically male leadership. Baker felt this top-down approach limited the power of the movement. Baker wanted to democratize the civil rights struggle. She believed that ordinary people, particularly the young, should lead their own efforts for change. In 1960, when students across the South started holding sit-ins to protest segregation, Baker saw an opportunity. She organized a conference at Shaw University that led to the formation of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, otherwise known as SNCC. SNCC was built around the very principles Baker had long championed: grassroots organizing, group-centered leadership, and direct action. Unlike the hierarchical structure of other civil rights organizations, SNCC emphasized collective decision-making. Baker's leadership was profoundly different from the mainstream, where figures like King and others believed in centralized authority and a single leader who could mobilize the masses. Baker believed in building from the bottom up. Her approach wasn't about eloquence or grandstanding. It was about listening, empowering, and organizing. She was often critical of the leader-centered model that put too much power in the hands of one person. Baker's legacy is seen today in various movements, which emphasize decentralized leadership and community empowerment. Her vision of group-centered activism has inspired countless generations of community organizers. Though she never sought fame or recognition, Ella Baker remains a giant in the history of civil rights. Her quiet determination, her belief in the power of the people, and her unwavering dedication to justice have left an indelible mark on the struggle for equality.